It was a conspiracy theorist. I would say they're purposely subverting a, let's just say, indisputably white culture, right? They're purposely subverting white culture. Maybe I shouldn't
I
continue
heard you
this
the first time.
thought process,
Okay.
considering I suspect I'm being suppressed in the algorithm, but
This one out of the way. It's no secret that Juju took a lot of inspiration from A New Hope in putting together the Farce and Gorges. Did
Well, boys and girls, it's time to start again the game of why the Nazis don't like The Last Jedi. And of course, the first myth to debunk is the Nazis don't dislike The Last Jedi. That's just an online thingy. Please provide evidence and examples, and we'll be going with two major examples. Well, technically three. But Synthetic Man, I think, is sort of self-validating. He's on record. He doesn't like The Last Jedi. He hates it. He hates Rian Johnson, and he's pretty extremely racist. We'll just leave it there. So we'll move on to Mauler and And surprise, I do agree partly more with although he's very anti-Semitic. He's the person at the beginning calling JJ not Jar Jar, but the other J word. But surprisingly, he's a little bit more moderate on The Last Jedi. And we'll begin with the alleged objective quality of The Last Jedi being akin to the worst thing of all time.
really impressive. The Star Wars prequels took years to catch that much flack. How can The Last Jedi be somehow that much worse? Truth be told, I don't think it is, to the prequels or the Farce and Gorges. So what in the world did Rian do to piss off this many people this fast?
Well, I agree partly. Now, I do defend the prequels, but The Last Jedi is a little stronger than the weaker prequels. I think with Phantom Menace, that's much stronger than The Last Jedi in many ways, but there we are, it can't be perfect. But I would agree that Last Jedi is much stronger than The Force Awakens, and the vitriol, at least initial, from the right wing seemed pretty overwhelming. Now, denies that, but I think he's going to validate it with his own curious look at the mythology. So we'll begin with his alleged reasons that things aren't lining up The Last Jedi in terms of how the plot works, because Leia should be dead.
Oh, wait again. Leia's not dead. She somehow survived being thrust into space. That's fucking impressive. If the sudden absence of any heat couldn't kill her, you'd think her lungs exploding from the sudden difference in pressure would have done her in. Simply incredible.
I can survive in space.
But can you do this?
You'll all have seen this scene by now.
Magic everywhere in this bitch.
I know midichlorians are the powerhouse of the cell, but her cells should all be fucking frozen right now. So how is she interacting with the Force?
Well, it may shock him, but no. You do not instantly become frozen ice in space. I don't know where he gets that from, so her having enough of the Force to, quote, fly is perfectly fine. I could appeal to Rebels, because this idea that, how could a Jedi survive in space? It's been done in Rebels, so it's not a big shock. Also, yes, the lungs thing, I think, would be a little tricky, but again, granting she is powerful with the Force, and again, Force users are not ordinary human beings, she could have enough wherewithal to survive the lung issue and then fly back. It's still a little dicey, but depending on her power levels, it can be done. Now let's turn to Mohair and his alleged Objecto Critico, where he promises not to get political, but then near the end of part 2, regarding Phasma, he gets very political. The women question and suggests that Phasma has no character.
What is it like for you to be able to play the first Star Wars female villain?
It's so exciting. It really is. She is Star Wars' first on-screen female villain. And that is really, really exciting. Not just because it's great to have a female villain in Star Wars, but what I think that JJ and Kathleen and the whole creative team have done is truly remarkable and truly modern.
Well, Mauler is technically wrong. I mean, I can understand why he thinks this, that Zam is, quote, a woman in Attack of the Clones. Now, if we double check the external sources, yes, she is gendered a woman, but technically speaking, within the film, all we know is she is a shapeshifter. So does she even have a stable gender identity? We really don't know. Her human form, yes, is as a woman, but is she really a woman? And again, even the shapeshifting powers are a little curious. She can only shapeshift once. So again, what is she really? What is her race and species? we don't really know. You have to go to the outside sources to verify. So it's a fun little gag, but technically speaking, Zam is a question mark. So you can't use that against Gwendolyn Christie and Phasma. But don't worry, he's not going to give up. He's going to go full bore with the strong female characters are just threatening his white penis somehow.
That Captain Phasma is to be placed into the big book of modern, strong female characters that have nothing valuable or meaningful about them as characters. We are told they are important and interesting solely by being a woman, and that is a step back for us in terms of writing and culture. If you tell generations of children that Phasma is good solely because she's a woman, then you are saying there is nothing valuable about being a woman beyond the virtue of being a woman. What is her motivation? What is her history? What is her struggle? How does she rise in the ranks? Is any of this remotely valuable as content before her simply being a woman? Modern media would have you believe that it is not. I hope in the future we can still muster some independent, free-thinking, strong women motivated by their own perception of the world and willing to risk everything to help themselves or their loved ones. Or hell, just be interesting characters, rather than the cinematic equivalent of being beige-flavored oatmeal.
Okay, so Phasma, not a good character because we don't get enough time with her motivations or who she is as a person. Meanwhile, Boba Fett, Django. Oh, by the way, this man calls himself Mauler. Remember Darth Maul? Remember all those amazing monologues and dialogues he had that made up his character? Oh, right. He barely spoke. Was he a popular character? Yes. Did his toys sell? Yes. Do I think he's a character? Yes. So somehow Darth Maul is enough of a character that you name yourself after him, but Phasma? It's just a marketing plan, guys. Of course, stating the obvious. Aren't they all marketing plans? Aren't they all toys to be sold? I don't know. You can be consistent and say all characters in Star Wars are very weak. They are sort of just primed to be toys. Or you could allow their complexities and, yes, simplicities. So you can't just judge characters that automatically or mechanically. But the case to be proven here in terms of the politics is, yes, a lot of the right-wing extremists were very motivated to hate this thing. But again, shocker, there is some subversion because does not hate it as much as the other people do. So if we have to go in, quote, descending order, the pun intended, I guess Synthetic Man is the most extreme. Is slightly less extreme. He is kind of a neo-Nazi anti-Semite, but not as hardcore as Synthetic Man. And Mauler at least avoids anti-Semitism, though he embraces right-wing extremism. And he's had on on the EFAP a couple times. As far as I know, he's never denounced the anti-Semitism. He's well aware of this too, by the way, because they joke about it on the EFAP. But interestingly enough, in descending order too, Mauler hates The Last Jedi a lot more than and probably hates it as much as Synthetic Man. But in some ways, is also very hateful, but in some ways, he's also the least hateful. So there we are. So the politics of The Last Jedi, yes, are a little dicey, but the general finding that the right wing does seem to have overwhelming hatred for it is correct. Though some on the extreme right, like don't hate it, they just mildly dislike it. I think that's a more accurate way to look at him.
You've been like the most requested guest ever on this show.
Yeah.
Oh my Jesus Christ! Every single one is a question. I gotta go. I gotta go up. Well, okay. Well, here's a super chat. Is ER aware of Alpha Alcapac's core series? Yes, I am. It's very good. Everyone should check that out. Better than mine. Let's see. Is ER racist? I already done that one. Very clear that answer. What is your opinion on Attack on Titan? It's good. Most people would have fun with it. I recommend it. Sounds like he's high. Yeah, that's probably how I sound all the time.
He's been airbending, is what you're saying?
High on the clouds. Why do people wife Korra? Brown waifu. With muscles. Some people are into that. Not me. Because I'm a racist, I guess.
You're racist against muscles?
Yeah, clearly.
He only likes the skinnies.
Are traps gay? Yes. Your appearance is the best birthday gift from me. Oh, thank you. How do you feel about people calling you a Nazi? They see what they see. Were you surprised when Thanos said the N-word in Endgame? Absolutely not. That's just the Thanos way. What are your genuine thoughts on the Jewish question? Well, clearly, they need to be stopped. Are you planning a video on Us? Maybe.
Oh, right. Yeah, we actually talked about that. Us was really
yeah,
bad.
we had a little back and forth with Mauler on that one. Not a great movie.
Yeah,
I have to say.
I leave that one to you, so you can destroy it if you